Good afternoon, this is Granny Fisher, and today we're going to talk about a possible nationwide truckers' strike that could affect us all. Before we do that, please subscribe if you haven't already, and click the notification bell if you want to receive notifications when I post a video. And if you're interested in information about how to prepare for the next Great Depression, be sure and check out the playlist on my YouTube channel. And share this video with anybody that you think might be interested in the topics discussed, and be sure to comment. I'd appreciate hearing your comments. I ran across something this week about a planned nationwide truckers' strike at the end of November. They already had a short-term strike on Veterans Day, a one-day park your truck strike, but not that many truckers found out about it in time, so there wasn't widespread participation. The end of this month, November 26th to the 29th, is a planned nationwide truckers strike. And if you don't think that will affect you, I suggest you go out to the nearest highway, probably not the interstate. That's not a good idea to stand out on the interstate, but if you have an old U.S. highway or a state highway going through your area, go park your car in a little parking lot nearby and watch the traffic. Count how many trucks, big 18-wheelers you see going by, and even delivery trucks, some of the smaller roll-off trucks and that sort of thing. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them on the roads. They deliver to Walmart, they deliver to Food City, Save-A-Lot, Piggly Wiggly, Costco, Aldi's, Lowe's, Home Depot, all the restaurants, all the grocery stores, a lot of the factories are dependent on truck drivers. And they're wanting to make a point that they do impact the nation. And what they're protesting is the possibly fraudulent election of Joe Biden as President of the United States through some shady business that went on during the election, and his policies that he plans to implement that would stop fracking and which would increase the cost of fuel, and the new Green Deal, which will also impact truck drivers and possibly cost a lot of them their jobs. So they see Joe Biden as a big threat to their industry and their livelihoods. And most of them are avid supporters of President Trump. So if you see a car with Stop the Tires 2020 painted on the windows, or you see a truck with a flag that says Stop the Tires 2020, that's what they're talking about. Now I'm going to put a link down below to some sites where you can get more information about the movement. They currently have over 61,000 followers on the Stop the Tires 2020 Facebook page. So that tells you how many people are actually interested in this. Not all of them are truckers, but most of them support what they're doing. So November 26th to November 29th, you'll see a lot of trucks parked at the side of the road, parked in parking lots, not traveling the roads, not traveling the highways, because they're trying to make a point. Now, why do I bring this up? Because it will impact us all. There are already news articles, authorities saying that they expect a food shortage and a shortage of many essential items in the upcoming weeks for a couple of reasons. One is we're in the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of people are stocking up to stay home. Some of the states and many of the countries in Europe, Canada, different areas are planning heavier lockdowns. I know the UK is just entering into a 1-month lockdown. A lot of the states in the United States are going to implement lockdowns to try and curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus. And so people are stocking up. You remember the toilet paper shortage earlier this year? Well, look for it again. Look for shortages of all kinds of non-perishable foods, canned foods, macaroni and cheese, rice, powdered milk, all those kinds of things. Toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies. People are stocking up, and the producers of those items can't keep up with the demand. And some things are imported, and that becomes a problem when you're trying to stock the shelves with something that's imported from a country that perhaps is having its own lockdowns. So, add to this a truckers' strike the last week in November. If I'm not mistaken, November 26th is Thanksgiving Day. So starting Thanksgiving Day, they're going to park their trucks for a few days. And what this means is that all the Christmas-related, Hanukkah-related, Kwanzaa-related, all the holiday stuff is not going to be delivered that week. Now, some things will already be delivered to the stores before Thanksgiving. And of course, if most of the truckers go back on the road after the 29th, then things will pick up again the first week in December. But look for shortages of all kinds of things. So right now, if you have the opportunity, if you have the means to pick up some extra groceries, some extra cleaning supplies, extra medicine, extra toilet paper, all those things, see if you can pick up some extra and put it back. Try and get your Christmas supplies early. I know the Postal Service has been terrible the last few weeks, at least in our area, at delivering things, that should only take a day or two, and they take weeks. I mean, I sent out something, I mailed out an invitation to a get-together to a friend of mine who lives here in town, and she has a P.O. box at the post office, and I mailed this invitation and she got it 10 days later. So, the Postal Service is not doing very well right now. And so expect to get your Christmas presents in the mail early. Expect to order your Christmas presents if you're going to need some early. Now would be good if you have the money. Go ahead and get your brown sugar, your cinnamon, your sweet potatoes, your pumpkins, all that now, because if you wait around until December, they may not be available. So that's what we can expect from the trucker strike. I know some of them are planning to park their trucks longer than just a few days, so it could have a greater impact than we're expecting right now. But the whole point they want to see, the truckers want to see, is they want to see the empty shelves. They want people to say, wait a minute, why is there a shortage of toilet paper again? And then someone will tell them, oh, didn't you hear about the truckers' strike? And they'll say, why? Why are they striking? And so this actually gets them a lot more exposure than you would expect from the mainstream news. In fact, the news that is reporting it is saying that this is a, quote, grassroots effort to fight fracking. But that's not the only thing. They're protesting the potential fraud and cheating in this election on the part of the Democrats. They realize that everybody they know was voting for Donald Trump, so how did he lose? There's a lot of that going around. I spoke with someone today who was here from out of town for a wedding, and the lady is from Arizona, and she said, there is no way Arizona is a blue state. She said, there's just no way. And granted, she might be conservative, all her friends might be conservative, and it could give her a narrow viewpoint. But still, if she lives in Arizona and maybe she's traveled around Arizona, I know she drove from there to here, so apparently she's been around and has seen the political signs, the Trump flags and whatnot. And she doesn't believe that that was an honest election in her state. And to be honest, they're still counting. They still only, last I saw, they still only had 99% of the Arizona vote in. Now, by the time this video goes live on Monday afternoon, that may have changed. And that brings me to another thing. We are going into the second wave. We're in the middle of it probably, second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's right in the midst of flu season. And a lot of states are wanting to implement heavy lockdowns and force people to wear masks. I know Joe Biden favors that opinion. If he becomes president, I'm sure he'll put in some pretty stringent restrictions on us for the COVID-19 pandemic. However, there have been epidemics in this country in the past with almost as high a death rate, and we never had these kind of lockdowns. I'll put some links about that in the description below. What we're going to see in the next few weeks is a possibly prolonged election count. And the longer it goes on, the more damage will be done to the nation. Just count on it. However this election turns out, the longer this is dragged out, the worse it's going to be for America. And I personally support Donald Trump. And I believe that he got more votes than any of the Democrats expected, and they had to really hustle to bring in the bogus votes to catch up with him. That's my personal opinion. However, if he pursues his legal action against the Democrats and against the illegal voting, he may be successful and he may not be. But if he is established as the winner of the election, what will the Democrats do? What will all the extreme left, the AOCs, the Ilhan Omars, the Bernie Sanders, Bernie Bros, all the Antifas and Black Lives Matter, what will these people do? And if he comes up with evidence of voter fraud or improprieties and presents valid evidence but still doesn't win the election, and then Biden gets in office and begins to implement some of his policies that are vehemently opposed by 71 million of the people in the United States who voted for Trump, then how will the conservatives react? Now, I realize conservatives are not as prone to violence as the extreme left. The extreme left is very violent. They've killed people this year. They've burned businesses, burned cities, took over whole downtown areas, defunded police. I guess you can tell which way my political leanings go. But it's not going to turn out well either way. And the longer the election process is prolonged, the more damage is going to be done to the nation. That's my opinion. We're going into the winter. I hope you're stocked up. I hope you've got plenty of supplies put back to get through till next spring. You need to be ordering seeds as soon as you can and begin working your garden. I know it's not the time of year anybody wants to be in the garden, but I'm going to have to get busy. I haven't done anything since we picked the last bean and dug the last potato. But we're going to have to get busy and till this up and spread some compost and manure on it and let it sit over the winter so we'll be able to plant in the spring. But start making your plans now for the spring. Make sure you've got plenty of everything you're going to need for you and your family. And be ready. It may be a slim Christmas, but let's just be ready. and trust God. He knows what's going on. None of this catches him by surprise. God bless you all. This is Granny Fisher, and I'll see you next time.